Hello everyone. Second news update for our Patreon and Boosty communities, and also for communities on YouTube and Rumble, because first segment of news update will be published later on today on my YouTube and Rumble channels too, as I did it in previous two occasions with the second updates. And we are now on Maneshka Square, dear friends, and of course many of you are recognizing this area. It's about 10 o'clock in the evening. Still hot. It's still hot, by the way, but nevertheless we decided to come to the city. We were hoping that it's gonna be not as hot as it is right now, but still we will go for a little walk, and I will record this news update. You can see, dear friends, something new here on Maneshka Square, RT Studio. So probably some programs RT will do in this studio that you are seeing right now. Interesting location, because camera gonna depict not just a hoster and potential guests of the studio, but also this view on camera now, and that's the view that will be in on the screen. It's a red square out there. No, Kremlin Towers, red square, and this building, by the way, this building is a historical museum. Some people are mistaking it to Kremlin, but it's historical museum. Nevertheless, let's go for a little walk and talk about some news. And first of all, let me give you news that according to Russian media reports, which is based on Defense Ministry's latest update, Russian armed forces liberated settlement of just a sec, dear friends. So many settlements being liberated almost on daily basis that sometimes it is difficult to remember all the names of these settlements. So Zelyonaya Dolina, by the way, that's the settlement in the DPR that is under full Russian control now, which is good news, of course. Also, Russian Defense Minister Andrei Belousov inspected the progress of combat missions by Dnipro units, and heard reports from the group commanders and their headquarters officials. This was reported by the Russian Defense Ministry, and this is interesting, because if Belarus Defense Ministry is checking the Dnipro group of forces, that might be indicator, maybe, that we should expect some potentially significant activization of Russian armed forces in Kherson direction, on Kherson sector. It is a possibility. And when it comes to Kherson region, by the way, this evening news broke that Kiev regime bombed a 5-story residential building in, I believe, in Oleshki settlement. In Oleshki settlement, yes, and unfortunately, building partially collapsed, and according to governor of the region, dozens of people might be under the rubble, and their emergency services are unable to conduct rescue operations, because Kiev regime is targeting emergency services officials with the drones. So they are sending their FPV drones and targeting whomever will try to get closer to this building that was demolished as a result of airstrike that Kiev regime conducted, maybe with US made F-16s or French made Mirage 2000 fighter jets, and potentially dozens of civilians could be dead as a result of this. Yet another terrorist attack that was conducted by Kiev regime with assistance of NATO. Yet again, Saldo regional government reported that, according to their information, dozens of people are under the rubble, and emergency services are unable to rescue them because every time they are trying to get to them, get too close to the building, FPV drones, Kiev regimes, this terrorist regime is attacking them with their FPV drones. And Aleshki, by the way, located on a bank of the Dnieper River, isn't it? So on the other bank of the river, there are Kiev regime's forces, and for them it's not that difficult to use drones, basically, to distract emergency workers. Nowadays, FPV drones are operating on 20, 30, sometimes even on 40 kilometers away from their operator. So that's the face of Kiev regime once again, dear friends. We all know what kind of elements they are, but they are proving our understanding on daily basis with their terrorist activity, terrorist inhuman activity. For tomorrow morning, probably more information will be available about this terrorist attack on residential building, and of course I will share additional information. Also, few more news for the first part of the news segment. Well, Russian forces continue to conduct strikes on so-called recruitment office centers of Kiev regime. And today, videos start circulating about Russian drone attack on a so-called recruitment center of Kiev regime in Odessa. And I guess residents of Odessa were very happy about it. I'm quite sure that is the case. As it happened in every other city where Russian armed forces conducted drone strikes on these so-called recruitment officers that are hated, by the way, by literally everybody on Kiev-controlled territory. Also, Moscow commented, by the way, on a topic of some new proposals that allegedly Russian foreign minister transferred to Marco Rubio yesterday during their meeting in Kuala Lumpur on a sideline of ASEAN summit. And Kremlin was asked about it today, and let me give you a commentary. Due to obvious reasons, Moscow will not reveal the essence of new proposals on the Ukrainian conflict. Settlement submitted to US Secretary of State Marco Rubio by Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. Russian presidential spokesman Dmitry Peskov said on Friday, US top diplomat Rubio earlier stated that Russia voiced new proposals on the ongoing Ukrainian conflict settlement, and in interview with the reporters later, Lavrov did not disclose the core essence of their proposals, suggesting waiting for big surprises. So interesting, isn't it? Interesting. We all remember that Trump stated that on Monday he will make some statements in regards to Russia, and now we are receiving information that there are some possible new proposals in regards to Ukrainian crisis, which is interesting. This makes this information, even though there is not much released to public, but still this information further increases interest towards Trump's statements that he will make on Monday. And let me show you, friends, eternal fire. in commemorations of all the heroes that give their lives during the Great Patriotic War. And we are in Alexandrovsky Sad right now, next to Kremlin. And let me show you surroundings, dear friends. A lot of people, isn't it? It's towards 11 now in the evening, and there are just, you know, people are walking around, enjoying themselves. It is too hot, really. I would prefer temperature to be like, I don't know, 5-7 degrees cooler. But nevertheless, it's always nice to go for a little walk, isn't it? And so, yes, interesting developments are happening. Not much is known about this, whatever new proposals being discussed in media, but we will find out. We will find out soon. Unfortunately, I'm not really optimistic. Let's continue in this part. So unfortunately, I'm not really optimistic that we will see some breakthrough. I see no reasons for the optimism, at least for now, but nevertheless, let's see how things will develop. And when I say I'm not really optimistic, and I have reasons for that, I'll give you a few of those reasons. For example, in this update, US State Secretary Marco Rubio stated that Washington is calling on NATO countries to transfer American weapon systems located in Europe to Ukraine and then replenish the stock by purchasing them from the US. So you see, Washington definitely is not about the escalation. Otherwise, we will hear a very different rhetoric, isn't it? From State Department, from Marco Rubio, from Donald Trump. Rubio is basically openly saying to European NATO member states that, you know what, you send whatever weapons you can send to Kiev regime and replenish your stockpile by buying more weapons from us, right? So for them, it's all about money, right? It's all about money, and it's all about this how should I say, this sickening ideology that they have to harm Russia, they have to hate Russia, they have to harm Russia. And that's what they do. That's what they're trying to do, by the way. Right? Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Rubio is calling European NATO member states to send more weapons to Kiev regime and to buy more weapons. And what about news that I reported this morning that Trump is allocating $300 million for new military aid package for Kiev regime, and this is a Trump's military aid package, not Biden's, right? So there is not really any reasons to excuse me, to be optimistic, unfortunately, And for this first segment, by the way, I give you also news that German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has urged US President Donald Trump to join the EU in its dive to supply weapons to Ukraine, including more missile defense systems. So while Washington calling European capitals to send their weapons to Kiev regime and then purchase new ones in US, European capitals, in this particular case, Germany, is calling on Washington to increase weapon deliveries. I mean, is this not crazy? Of course it is. Of course it is. These people are not about peace, not about prosperity of the world or security for Europe. No, these are warmongers, Russia haters, and they will continue to escalate until until Moscow will finally um, put them in their places. Process is underway, but well, clearly more needs to be done, and probably we are getting closer and closer to the point when Moscow will take such actions, after which globalists probably will have no option but to order their puppets in the governments of collectivist countries to begin de-escalating immediately. We are getting very close to that particular point. And dear friends, I will end first part of news segment on that. Let me just show you some. Oh, I should turn the camera, by the way, and film like that. I will make short clips in different parts on the way of our, a little walk, and time to time I will add some additional news, or second part, let's say, of the news update.
Куда плавать?